Hot mic now. Good morning, everybody. It's Coffee and Politics Online with Sydney Walker, and I'm joined by one of my favorite people here today, my school board trustee, Edward Turner of District 9.
Hello.
So that encompasses my alumni school of Skyline Raiders, but also includes Lincoln, Madison, Charles Rice. You also include Aberstein.
Yeah, I have 33 schools in my district.
33 schools. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Trustee Sanders is going to come on at a different time. He is traveling with the kiddos. So it's been a while since I've had you on.
Yeah, I haven't been on since I've been elected.
Yes.
Yes.
I tried to give you time to get your feet wet, all of those great things, but we knew you were going to hit the ground running.
I'm still running.
I know you are. It's a big job.
Yes.
Lots of shoes to fill from former trustee Henry and Price.
Yes.
And we are very proud of what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with the district, one thing that has been going on is a lot of construction with our schools in South Dallas, especially the MLK Learning Center, Madison, and Lincoln. So kind of catch us up on what is going on with District 9.
Well, there are a lot of great things happening in District 9, specifically sunny South Dallas.
Yes.
When you look at Madison High School, $35 million investment into a competition gym at Madison High School.
That's what that was about.
So that's where you see the nice competition gym,
Yes.
the nice track, the nice,
Yes.
the turf field, which is looking really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, Madison won the championship game.
And they
basketball.
deserve, yes.
Yep. Lincoln High School. Another additions and renovations been happening at the magnet part of Lincoln High School, and it's not done yet. Lincoln is actually, front entrance is going to be extended all the way to Malcolm X. And that's a multi-million-dollar construction deal. Mm-hmm. The historical Lincoln building,
yes,
where the Adalio Williams Career Institute is currently housed right now, is getting completely renovated. And the historical Lincoln building is going to be brought up to look the way it looked when it first opened. Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. And in July, we will break ground on the Careers to East, the Adalio Williams Careers to East, at the corner of Malcolm X and Lipscomb Way.
Right.
The old John Henry Brown.
Yes.
So that's happening. We just had a 2026 bond pass, $6.2 billion. Thank you, voters, for supporting Dallas ISD.
Yes.
How does that benefit
How does
Sunnyside?
Yes. How does that? Because I know for a lot of people that was a
Yeah.
big sticker shock.
Yep.
Because the previous bond was over $1 billion.
Yep.
And
$3
then
billion.
yes, and then we went to 6, and it's like, woo, excuse me, what is happening with our schools?
Well, the great news about the investment is that the $3.3 billion investment showed that when you invest into our schools do well academically, right? It creates a vibe where parents want to take their kids to nice looking facilities. But $3.3 billion seems like a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it is a small drop when you look at having 230 something schools in a district and a need that is way greater in the multi-billions of dollars
Than the bond package.
Right? Mm-hmm. But this bond is going to benefit sunny South Dallas. Charles Rice is going to get a brand new school, right?
What?
Yes, Charles Rice is getting a brand new school. Armoring Hill is getting a brand new school.
Okay, so recently I took a picture of the blacktop because I remember when that blacktop was put down, my auntie and I, we used to go shoot hoops up there. Yeah. The portables are gone. Yay.
All portables are gone.
Thank God.
That's happening.
Not saying that we didn't need them, but it is great to just have the school there. And then the addition that was added on, because when I went to school there, you went to school there, it was just the front building and what was added on to that. Mm-hmm. And then during my oldest lifetime, we saw the addition being added on. So now you're going to be doing more with our beloved Charles Rice School.
So I haven't seen the designs yet for the architects, right?
Okay.
But if I'm speaking ahead of myself, I would assume that the front part of the building with the red brick is going to remain, just going to be brought up to, looking fairly new.
Refreshed.
Because we want that to remain historical. And everything else, there's enough land back there to actually build a whole new school.
Yes.
A whole new school for Charles Rice.
Yes.
So I'm thinking what they're looking at is where the kids might not have to move, is just building a whole new school on the same property and still keeping the historical building there. Okay. And then the add-ons will probably be torn down. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know.
Okay. Now, of course, because I'm old, you didn't have to agree with that, because I remember the bathroom doors that went outside. And when they got closed up, I mean, and us doing flips on the metal bars and coming out of the cafeteria in the back and having that huge playground. So
I didn't go to Charles Rice. I went to Phyllis Wheatley.
So that, and I'm gonna have to have Forrest Forward on to talk about Phyllis Wheatley because they're in that building now. So it warms my heart to see that we're getting new upgrades and maintaining history in light of a lot of things going on in Dallas around historic preservation. And what decisions went into refreshing, old Lincoln?
Well, so before I got on the board, the plan was to take the historical Lincoln building and retrofit a career institute on that building.
Okay.
After further research and design, it came to find out that that's impossible. For one, it's an historical building.
Right.
So you're very limited on what you can do to it.
Yeah.
And then when you start thinking about a career institution, you have to have big warehouse space, right? Because when you start talking about automotives, aviation, plumbing, construction, welding, these trades, you don't do that in your traditional size class. You need big space for that.
Yes, you do.
And the historical Lincoln building, at that time, it was a good idea for the Lincoln Magnet and the historical Lincoln building to get some investment, but later come to find we can't do that. And that's why we're building the Adalio Williams Career Institute over at the old John Henry Brown, because we have a space where you're going to be able to do the automotives, the HVAC, the plumbing, the electrician, the welding. So that particular building would deal with all of the heavy equipment stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now at the historical Lincoln building, we're going to deal with all of the non-heavy equipment, like the medical part and things of that nature.
The classroom
part of it. That would take place at that. So it's two separate locations.
Yeah.
And they both are getting investment, which is a great investment for sunny South Dallas, because what that means is if we move all the kids out there, Dalio Williams, out of the historical Lincoln building and just put them down at the new building, then what happens to the historical Lincoln building? Now they don't get an investment, right? So we got to keep our buildings filled, especially our historical buildings, so we can show that they're being used. Because if you don't use them, what happens?
People want to tear them down.
People want to tear them down. Yes. And we don't want people to tear down. Well, they can't tear down our historical buildings.
Right, but the legacy is preserved. So that is fantastic. So, of course, I have a ton of questions around that because I used to teach at Lincoln College in Grand Prairie.
Okay. And
we were part of the associates program for the automotive and diesel students. So with the kids being in that kind of program, what do they end up getting? Do they get certified, or is it a feeder into
both? To answer your question, both.
Okay.
So we have kids, when they finish these programs, they're getting industry certificates where they're going to be able to go into the trades. And also they have partnerships with different, industry partners that help them get internships and actually offer them jobs. Now, we don't offer diesel mechanics on a high school level, and that's where the partnership with Dallas College come in, where the kids want to get additional certifications in aeronautics or aviation or diesel mechanic. they just go into Dallas College for another year, get a few more certificates.
Yeah.
These kids are coming out of high school making $30 to $40 an hour at 19 years old. Yeah. If I made $40 an hour at 19 years old, like, come on. And we're talking, because the reality of the matter is, when we was in school, everybody talked about get a college, get a degree, right?
Yes.
We're talking about jobs that cannot be outsourced. You cannot outsource an electrician, a plumber. You can't outsource construction.
No.
None of these things, right?
Right.
Auto mechanics. These are hands-on jobs.
Yes, they are.
And these kids will build.
They can write their own ticket.
They can write their own ticket, and they graduate without a lot of debts, debt free.
Big plus right there.
Exactly.
I knew a gentleman, because his dad lived in Arlington, so on Sundays I would go and have tea and coffee, and met some guys that were from Egypt. One guy, he would work for 6 months out of the year doing HVAC, and then go home for 6 months to Egypt. And that was his life, and made an incredible salary that he could take a whole 6 months off, come back, pick right back up, and then bounce again. That is incredible. And I know that's been part of a lot of the dialogue, that with this whole push of getting a traditional four-year degree, going to grad school, and that not being for everyone.
It's not. College is not for everyone, right? There are people that really want to be good in their hands. And when we was in school, technology wasn't at the level that it's on now.
Right.
AI wasn't at the level that it is now. And there was no online college, right?
No.
Now you don't even have to sit in a traditional classroom anymore to get a college degree. And your engineers and all those jobs, they can be outsourced for cheaper labor at somewhere in the foreign country.
Right.
And but
I know that happens with IT.
Exactly, IT, definitely with IT.
Yes.
But also, even when we think about adding additional programming in our schools, for example, Madison High School, we're looking at adding a business component to our P-Tech. Not just your traditional business, but...
Okay, what is P-Tech?
Don't give me the acronym. So P-Tech is, the gist of what the P-Tech program is. It allows kids to earn an associate's degree in high school.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So instead of you having to go get into Kathleen Gilliam, one of the other early colleges, you can actually earn your associate's degree at your neighborhood high school. At the same time.
Save debt.
Right, save debt. So that's the P-Tech program. But also what we're potentially adding, it's not done yet, but potentially adding is a business magnet where kids are going to learn insurance, investments, real estate, like to another level where we're talking about Y'all Street. Because Y'all Street is coming to Dallas.
Right.
So we have to create a pipeline where our high school kids can learn about this industry and be able to go and get jobs in that particular industry. So kids have to learn about money and investments so that if they're going to build generational wealth, and we're trying to bring that particular program to Madison High School.
You see my reaction with all of this. Because I'm sitting here saying, where was this when we were in school? And I grant you, I got you by some time here. But, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, the board, when we was doing evaluations, when I first got on the board, one thing that parents and the community talked about was financial literacy.
Yes.
That was a big component. Why are we not teaching our kids financial literacy?
Yes.
So the administration, which we have a great administration, a great superintendent, a great board, she has a great staff. They went to the drawing board, back to the drawing board, where they went, got creative, came up with some ideas on how we could start teaching, implement financial literacy in our curriculums throughout school.
This is not traditional TEA out of Austin type initiatives that, schools across the country, I'm going to say, invest in and create that pathway so our kids have some basics with budgeting, and not saying, oh, you got to wait till you get to college and then take those electives.
And this is the reality. Schools are competing for dollars.
Yes.
Right? And parents want choice. At a district of our size, we want to be able to offer as much choice as possible. So you have people that want to go in insurance and investments. We have a program for you at Madison High School to come if that's something that you want to go into.
Right.
If you want to go into TV, not telecommunication, but TV, cinematography, production. Right, all that. Lincoln High School.
Lincoln has been known for having that program.
Oh,
yes.
They now have, when you go into their studio, you think you're probably walking into WFA. That's how nice it is.
Okay, I need a tour. I want to see that.
You need a tour. It's amazing. Lincoln, when you go and look at Lincoln High School right now, you will be pleased at how Lincoln High School is designed right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew one of the coaches there, Coach Jamal. Hey, Jamal. And he was telling me about all of the money that was being spent there. And one, if any of y'all have been following the show, before Trustee Turner got on with the ISD, even before Trustee Henry was on the board, and all of the rumors about Lincoln and Madison closing. Our schools are not closing.
Now, our schools are not closing. And to be truthful with you, the Madison Lincoln feeder or Madison Lincoln vertical is one of the only verticals in the southern sector where all the schools are B rated academically and actually moving up. We're going to get the data for this year, this particular school year in July, but last school year, our schools operating at a B rating. MLK Arts Academy, K through 8 school, art school. My daughter went to MLK. She was in that first cohort. They had kids applying to Booker T. I think we had about, don't quote me on this, but I think we had about 10 kids to apply their first cohort, and then like 7 kids got in.
Okay.
This last cohort, they had about 15 kids to apply, 10 kids got in, right?
Okay.
So, and the kids that are coming out of MLK are doing well academically at Booker T. So what it shows is that if we invest the resources in our community, our kids will thrive. Our kids will compete at whatever level you put them on, right? And the great thing about Booker T, you have kids from all different socio-economic backgrounds.
Yes.
And they're focused on the arts. And art does not determine, it's not, how can I put this? Art is about what it comes out of yourself. It doesn't determine your socioeconomics. It don't determine your race. It don't determine all these things, because it's art, music. These things bring folks together, right?
Yes.
Which is a great thing.
Yes, it is a language that everyone speaks.
Everyone speaks.
Okay, so I'm like, because I have an artist up and coming, and he is heavy into the anime.
Yep.
And I've told him.
My daughter is too.
You know how this generation is. So is Booker T with supporting the arts and educating our kids in the arts? I'll 2-part questions here with going into more of the non-traditional arts, because we think of music performance, dance, and then portraits and whatnot, and there's so much technology that we have that's changing our arts. But also, does Booker T have a component that discusses that business side of art, so you're not a starving artist?
I don't have an answer to that question.
We need to work on it.
But you know what? I will find out.
Yes, sir.
And I will
know
let you know and give you an update, right?
Yes.
Because you're right. You don't want starving artists. But this is also something to think about, too, with Booker T. Yeah, it's an art school. But the majority of these kids are not necessarily going into that field of art, but because they understand art and music and the science of it, they're able to apply that to any job. Whether they go into the health field, whether they go in art, or whether they go in law, legal, business, it doesn't matter. The fundamentals of having to put together music, having to put together art pieces, design. I'm not an artist.
Right.
It carries on through life, period, in your skill set.
Yes.
So these kids are bigger than just your artists. These kids are future,
a dancer or something.
Becoming a dancer. These kids are future CEOs and future community leaders. And art just set the foundation on how their brain functions and with their critical thinking skills.
That is so important.
Yeah.
Because former trustee Price and I, we've talked about critical thinking and skills, and all of us growing up. Because I remember my grandmother getting on me, just saying, "You just don't have any common sense." And it's like, okay, I heard you loud and clear, so I made sure that I got some common sense, whatever that meant to a kid at the time, and just understanding that there's a triad. That yes, you have your math, you have your math and sciences, you have your language, and you have your arts component that makes the entire person.
Yep.
Which is why, physical fitness and being outdoors and having that recess time was so important, because sometimes you got to burn off that energy.
You do. You have to burn it off. Yeah.
You got to burn it off. Oh my God. So with so much going into our schools in South Dallas, and I love hearing that. So if you're just tuning in, I'm talking with School Board Trustee Edward Turner over District 9 with Dallas Independent School District. My heart place, Skyline. What's going on with my school out there?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Skyline, and not this bond we just voted on, but the previous bond we just voted on about $60 million for Skyline. Skyline's a big school, right?
Huge.
And $60 million is really not a lot of money. Drop in the bucket for the need for Skyline. But the band hall, got a brand new band hall coming that's being built at Skyline. The weight room, right? The athletics portion, right? Like new weight equipment, state of the art stuff to get them up to par, right? HVAC. Technology.
Yes.
I know the restrooms right now. I think it was one. I did a tour, and one side, like, the restrooms were not looking great. That's been done, right?
Okay.
The good news is, with our administration, is when things are brought to my attention and I'm able to address them, they get on it. The leadership team gets on it. They put together a plan. Sometimes the community want things to happen like that. Things don't happen that quick.
It's not instant.
Right.
Yes.
It's a process.
Right.
But we get the process going. Right. And things are in motion. And at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want things moving in motion in the right direction. So even if you ride by Skyline, you see how they have that one open area on Forney.
Yes.
That's closed off now.
Oh, really?
Right. Well, it's not closed off. We fenced in and around, right?
Okay.
Because safety is important.
Yes.
We don't need anyone just having free access to our campuses that might want to come do harm to our kids.
And if you know anything about Skyline, because you got F and G building and so many doors.
Right. Exactly. It's a mini college campus.
Yes, it is.
Right.
And that is a lot of access.
It is.
Because you only have like 6 minutes, 7 minutes to get from one end of the campus to the other side. I know, because I had to do it. There were a lot of places where people could sneak in.
Yeah, absolutely. So safety is our number one priority. That's one reason why when this new bond, we propose getting rid of all of the portables, because that's a safety hazard, right? We want our kids safe, and anything, we have to be proactive, because we know the people that intend to do harm.
Yeah.
They gonna plan out or do whatever they want to do.
They gonna try to figure it out.
And we gotta do our job is to create as many barriers as possible to protect our kids, our parents, our teachers, and everyone that comes in this building. Because at the end of the day, when I drop my kid off at a school, I expect to pick safely. I expect to get my kid back safely.
Yes.
Right. And that's one thing that I don't even have to question that the ISD is committed to, is the safety of our kids.
Good. Well, I haven't heard about any issues with safety, and that has always given me pride with being an alumni of Dallas Independent School District, because there is so much going on, and we hear so many things about kids in more suburbanite school campuses and having issues with someone bringing a weapon, somebody flipping out, all of these things. But go ahead.
And a lot of these issues, they take place outside of the campus.
Yes.
And then
it ends up
coming into the campus, right?
Yes.
And then what a lot of people don't know, at the Dallas ISD, we can only handle what's on our campus grounds. We can't necessarily deal with what takes place outside of the campus.
Right.
And that's really out of our jurisdiction.
That's where you parents come in.
Absolutely.
And the schools are supportive with having counselors on campus.
We do.
So your baby can go and talk to someone if they need to.
We have mental health clinicians at all of our campus. We're not talking about your traditional counselor that helps you with your grades, your academics. We're talking about licensed, trained mental health clinicians where you can not only have a one-on-one mental therapy session with a licensed counselor, but your parents can too as well. Your family. It's family therapy. These services are available. We also have resource centers over at JJ Rose.
Yes.
Resource centers, right? Where you can get additional resources, whether that's parent classes, food, nutrition, clothing.
Yes.
Things to keep you being able to take care and provide for your family.
Taking one thing off your plate, off your forehead of stressing you out.
Absolutely, and we offer that and we have 4 locations to my knowledge. I know we have 4 locations.
Okay. Oh yeah, because the school off of East Grand is one of them too, right?
Maybe so. I don't know all of them for fact, but I do know we have one in West Dallas. Look, we have 200 some schools.
And I'm thinking back when I had trustees Foreman, Nuttall on the show, and we were talking about all of those things, and because some of our kids in the ISD experience homelessness.
Homelessness is an issue, and we have great programs like Educate to After 8 that works with our homeless kids as well. DISD has a homeless program where kids that are experiencing homelessness can go and get additional resources, and that program is actually housed out of Frazier.
Wow.
Right here in South Dallas.
Yeah.
And now I'm changing the subject here.
Right. Go ahead.
One great thing that we've done now that you mentioned the resource center, we just voted on universal pre-K. Pre-K 3, pre-K 4. Full day pre-K.
You know what?
That is a game changer.
It is, because when Miguel Solis was on the school board, I fussed at him. And I told him, I said, I'm one of the families that y'all claim y'all want in the schools. I said, but if I'm going to have to pay out tuition, like my kid is going to private school, I'm going to put them in private school.
Absolutely.
And so it is great to hear that is universal, which is what you expect. This is why you want to pay your property taxes to help fund these kind of programs. And I tell people all the time, we are setting up our kids to become the future society that we say we want.
Yeah, and we have to start early.
Very early.
Very early with educating our kids. Because that's going to prepare them to be academically ready when they get to 3rd grade. And they're going to pick up on those social skills, those soft skills, those skills to being able to interact and engage with other kids, to work together. And it's a beautiful thing. And pay respect to Trustee Solis. They set the foundation that for years ago. Yes. And it's always amazing, because I've been doing this work for a while.
You have.
How when you're having a conversation, when you're fighting and you're advocating for certain things, and you want it to change overnight, and then you look here 7, 8 years later, you just kept planting these seeds, and now
kept navigating
and kept watering them, and now they're starting to grow, and it's like, wow.
We started this back when.
Yes.
That's why I have always spoken for public schools. Our ISDs. And I know when Ewan Blackman was on, and we were talking about the work that he's been doing in Richardson ISD, and how it feels like our public schools are under attack.
They are. Well, let me say this. They are under attack with competition, right? And this, to be fair, I think when there was not charter schools and you just had your traditional private schools, I think ISDs got comfortable. Well, when you start giving parents more choice, parents are like, I don't want to send my kid. I'd rather send my kid to a charter school. I'd rather send my kid to a private school. It forced the ISDs to become more competitive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So now You want the nice facilities, right? You want good programming. You want things that's going to attract unique kids to have choice, because there are too many options nowadays. And we are competing for kids. We're not only competing against the ISD, other ISDs surrounding ISDs, or the charter schools or the private schools. To be honest with you, we're competing within the district for kids that's already here.
I was gonna say, because I have always told people, DISD gives you choice.
Yes.
You can get your kid to go to another school in the district.
Okay.
Because I know some of them in the north, boy, the waiting list, and Rosemont and Oak Cliff was like, everybody wanted their kid to go there.
But MLK has a waiting list now.
Yes. That is so great to hear that. One, they say competition is a good thing, because, hey, the ISD had to step up.
We did. We had to rise to the occasion. And we study rising, right? We're one. We are the top premier district, urban district in the state of Texas, and awesome. We're running up the scoreboard.
Awesome.
And we're not slowing down. We're not looking backwards. We are doing, as this administration and this board is doing everything they're able to do in their power to give kids access to opportunity, parents access to opportunities, and create success for kids to be able to do well. And that's why the voters supported this bond, because they believe in the ISD and they believe where we headed. And that's why more and more parents are starting to send their kids to Dallas ISD.
See, so you want choice? Look at Dallas ISD.
Yep, got to come to Dallas ISD.
There's choice there. For me, the choice has always been there, but I call myself being very privileged to have known all of you guys, and watch you come up in the ranks and get elected, and watch you do all of the work and educate the viewers on why this is so important and what is going on with the schools. Because, when you and Edwin, y'all came on and talked about, reading programs and how to include the parents in everything, because a lot of times people put so much focus on the kids. Yeah. And if you don't have mom and dad or auntie, big cousin, TT, whoever that is the guardian that's helping to take care of the child, if they're not along for that journey.
Right. It's the parent experience.
Yes.
And that's, I think that's the next level. We done really well this past year on increasing our parent liaisons. They have a new name for them now. I don't know the new title. I think it's parent instructor or something of that nature, right? But every school, especially those who are receiving Title I funding, have parent instructors. So they're taking parent engagement intentionally. And I'm seeing schools that I've worked with that just started out with parent clubs at one time. 3 years later, they now establishing PTAs, because parent engagement, when you create an opportunity for parents to be involved, they're going to be there. Parents are your biggest salesperson, your biggest advocate. Yeah. And when parents believe in your program, what you got going on, it wins. And it's not even about the language. We have, the ISD is majority Hispanic. I give you one school in my district, R.C. Burleson Elementary.
Okay. Where is that one?
That's over in Pleasant Grove by Comstock.
Okay.
The principal, dynamic principal, majority Hispanic. She don't speak Spanish, but she show up every single day. Those bilingual, non-Spanish speaking parents, they are involved. They are engaged. I don't have to speak your language to know that you care about my kid. I don't have to speak your language to know that you are making sure my child gets a quality education.
What they need.
Right. I don't have to speak your language to know that I see my child is excited to come to school every day. You don't have to speak my language to make me feel welcome and invited to know I can participate. We'll get through the language barrier situation. But what it goes to show is when people care and their hearts are invested and they invested in their kids, that school went from an F rating to an A rating.
How much time?
We're talking about a 5-year period.
Oh, Wow.
It's an A-rated school.
Which I'm community. Sure will be having a waiting list here soon.
They already got a waiting list. Right. That's what I'm telling you. Right.
So, you want choice? Shop your ISD, especially you in Dallas County. I will say Dallas County. If you near a DISD school, look at what is being offered, because as a parent, you want the best experience for your kid.
Yep. Sylvia Mendez, the old Humphrey Lee.
Yeah.
A-rated campus. We're talking about two schools that's probably probably a mile away each other off Jim Miller.
Yeah.
So the community didn't change. Right. All of a sudden, the parents didn't just change.
No.
You created good programs. You brought in good teachers, people who care about kids, raised high expectations, and parents and kids both leveled up. And that's why the schools are doing well.
So, because you remember all the ACE programs.
ACE played a significant role in where our kids are academically now.
So, one of the concerns and discussion points that people had were, once the school met or exceeded the criteria to become an ACE school, and it's like, okay, well, now all those resources are being pulled away. What's going to happen to the school? So what I am hearing is, despite ACE or not, it's been demonstrated. You get everybody in the room and say, what kind of experience you want to have for these kids? Yeah. And everybody rallied around it and made it happen.
Yes. And it comes down to school leadership.
Okay.
It comes down to the leadership of the school. And yes, ACE did go away, but we didn't stop investing in our schools that were struggling. We've identified campuses that what we call high priority campuses, and those campuses got additional resources, right? So we didn't leave schools just struggling out there. No, we didn't turn our backs on them to figure it out. We start, having stipends, right? When we start talking about the TEI, right? Teachers being graded, and now their incomes being able to go up because their academic performance. We also are retaining a lot of our teachers, especially our proficient teachers, at a higher level than the surrounding ISDs. We're paying teachers $68,000 first year to be a teacher in Dallas ISD. So we're not only competitive when it comes to salary, but the opportunity in academics. But if you become a great teacher and you do well and you show growth, there are financial benefits for you for your growth. And that's why we're retaining teachers. And that's why, we learned some mistakes from ACE. We learned that if you take away those resources, that a school can backtrack. And we don't ever want a school to backtrack.
Right.
So what the administration did was say, you know what, you're right. Let's figure out something to make sure that
keep that trajectory
going, and it's working and it's paying dividends.
So, I love Bill Benson, and we have been. I have had discussions about it. I've gone through and I have dug through the enrollment numbers. So how are we looking as a district, school district, not just D9, but school district, on our enrollment numbers?
Enrollment is important. And speaking of enrollment, well, a lot of people don't, when you see that tax bill the same way I see that tax bill, right? Okay.
Woo!
Like, you think Dallas ISD gets all that money.
No,
we don't get all that money.
No.
Right? There's this thing called recapture.
Yes.
School finance.
Yes.
And everything is tied to your enrollment. So if you're a property rich district and you bring in a lot of money.
Yes.
And your enrollment is dropping, you actually got to pay the state back money. Right?
Which takes money away
from your district.
Yeah.
I think this year we're paying, don't quote me on this, I think we're paying about $60 million in recapture.
That's still a significant amount.
That's a significant amount.
That's the amount that went into Skyline with the bond.
Exactly, the bond. But if you look at other states, other cities like Austin, ISD, I think they're paying recapture of $100 million.
Yeah, I know Highland Park pays a huge recapture.
Highland Park pays a huge recapture,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's not just even the major cities, even small ISDs. You think of Orange ISD. Like what you would think, why is Orange paying recapture? All the oil plants out there, they pay a lot of taxes. Property rich because we got all the skyscrapers.
Yes.
That's paying on our tax value.
Yes.
Highland Park has all of the houses, real estate that's paying to their tax thing, right? But other surrounding districts are not paying recapture.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So it is what it is. But our enrollment, when I first got on the board, our enrollment actually went up by 3,000. So, and we didn't project. It's like, whoa, we're doing good.
Right.
Our enrollment only dropped this last particular school year is because everything that's happening in Washington. ICE. So now you have parents afraid to send their kids to school because they fear getting deported. Right? When you have, like, as an ISD, we can only protect the kids and the families in that building.
Right.
Trying to get from your home to that building, we have no control.
Right.
If ICE want to have a checkpoint
in between there,
what do you think parents are doing? That hurt our enrollment significantly, and we got to pay recapture because of that now.
And we don't think about that.
So
for all my folks that talk about, well, they don't need to be here, and whatnot. So even when someone comes here and they are trying to provide a better life for their family, there is a long immigration process. It is not you come, you get your visa, and boom, 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 boom.
Right.
In a year, you are now a U.S. citizen. Because when Ewan was on here, and I've worked with people that, 15, 20 years later, they're finally becoming a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
So, and these are not people that snuck out. They followed the process. And some of that fear, we've been seeing people that are following the process and they're getting rounded up.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that has played a huge part in our school districts.
It has.
And impacted the number of students.
And not just us, but across the nation.
Right.
Yeah, that's a real reality. And it doesn't matter if you're here documented or undocumented. When you come into our ISD schools, you're going to get the same exact quality education that you are entitled to have.
Right.
Because we're here to educate our kids.
And we want them to become a functioning person in society where they can take care of themselves, take care of their families, because that means less resources being pulled on by the people who always want to say everybody's like getting food stamps and welfare and free housing and this, that, and the other. And it's like, but do you want these families coming here to try and have a better life, not allow their kids to get educated?
Right. Because you want a well-educated society.
Yeah.
And it's not that we as an ISD are rejecting anyone. And a lot of times people, we talk about school finance, right? People think that enrollment determines how much money you get. No. It's
also attendance.
It's attendance. ADA. Average daily attendance. How long are butts in seats? So even though a kid might be enrolled at a school, if they're not showing up to school every single day, that is
which
money.
I think is such a disservice
right.
to the kid, because you get the flu, you can be out for a week.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's why it's called, and you have what they call WADA, the weighted average daily attendance, right?
Okay.
I mean, there's, we know kids get sick and things like that, but if you're out for a month, 2 days, 3 days,
or a month sprinkled out over the entire year,
it
and
adds
then your
up.
child having to go to summer school because of that. Yeah. I know those situations.
Yeah.
Because the kids that are there end up getting shortchanged because of those fewer dollars coming into.
It does. Enrollment matters.
Matters.
Like kids attending school matters, because the more kids you have at a school, the more dollars that school get, the more programs, the more resource, the more access to things. So when you look at a school like Madison, where enrollment is 300 kids compared to a Skyline, of course Skyline will have more programs. right? Madison is not.
Freshman class can be over 1,000 kids.
I just was at graduation and I shook maybe 1,000 kids' hands.
When I was there, I think the freshman class, we were like close to 3,000 kids.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, huh? Wait, it was over 850 of us graduating. That's why I say, yeah, we it. Now I want to go back to my beloved Skyline. So are we going to see some resurgence of some new programs? Because I love what we're doing with the trades and getting that and making sure that we have a new campus for their hands-on training.
Yeah.
So for those who may not know, Skyline, cluster program, you had fashion, you had all kinds of plastics and just great programs there where you can get that experience. So how is Skyline meeting today's demand? Because Townview gave Skyline a run for its money on getting those students to come there.
So remember when I told you about competition?
Yes.
And not only are we competing against ISDs, charter schools,
yes,
we are competing for kids within our own district.
Yes.
Right? And at the time when Skyline was that magnet school where there was not a lot of choice, Skyline was your only choice.
Yes, it was.
Now when we have career institutes in every quarter, right, that does force Skyline to have to make some adjustments. People are still going to Skyline. I know a kid that's interning in aviation right now. They're very competitive, but also now it's getting to a point where people choose to send their kid to Skyline because it's like, well, I went to Skyline and Skyline has this program, but Skyline is competing, right? Okay. I mean, it's not the only choice anymore,
right?
And that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. That is a good thing.
So the magnet school is still flourishing. The cluster programs are still flourishing. Okay, good. Still doing well.
Good.
They just don't. The enrollment is 3,500 kids, I believe, now versus 6,000 when you was there.
Oh yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
a shift.
It's a shift.
But Townview ranked in the top 25 in the country. So hats off.
Amarangale does too.
Yes.
We have top rated schools. I mean, Booker T does too.
I know. Send your kids to these ISDs. I mean, when I was there, Skyline was that girl. She was that girl.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to get in there. I had family that went there. I was a legacy kid. So, yes, I got in. But, times change. Programs change. And hats off with Townview, because that's in Trustee Sanders' district. And my oldest is a graduate from there. And just knowing that you have so many options to look at.
You do.
Not just from a education career standard pathway trajectory that your child wants, but also their needs, their learning styles.
Yep.
There are Montessori campuses.
There's Montessori campuses. Buckner Terrace is not a Montessori school, right?
Yes.
It wasn't always like that.
It wasn't.
Because you know how that came about? Because he
likes to take the credit for it.
Well, he will, right? Yeah, he will. But when I remember campaigning the first time, knocking doors, a lot of parents in that community were homeschooling their kids, right? And it was like, how can we make Buckner Terrace a real community type based school? And no, the community wanted a Montessori school.
Yeah.
And because they wanted it, now, I mean, Buckner Terrace Montessori School is a B-rated campus.
Yeah.
Doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And their enrollment numbers are moving in the right direction.
So for people who may not be familiar with that, because my daughter went to the science school, which fed into a lot of Dallas's schools. Kind of go at your own pace. There's not a strict schedule on getting the work done. It's the child directs themselves, and it is a really great experience if you have that kid that is independent in that way, because it's not for every child.
It's not.
Some kids, they need that structure. They need somebody saying, okay, time is over for this, now we're moving on to this. And having that experience, your school choice. If you have that kid that can go off and do their own thing and absorb the knowledge and they're thirsty like that, having that option there. So that is great that the community stepped up and said, hey, this is what we want. And they made sure that it happened.
It happened. Even when you look at the J.J. Rose Pre-K Center, right? That was the community speaking up for that. And when you look at MLK Arts Academy, that was the community. Because at that time, I was the SBDM chair at MLK before it became an Arts Academy, right?
Yes.
When I tell you, and I'm not exaggerating this, you have a board and you have an administration, you have a superintendent that listens to the community and want kids to do well, and they really are intentional about trying to make it happen. Do people get stuff perfect all the time? Nobody does. But it's an intention to do well there, hands down.
Okay. So I did get sent a question about parents coming. So it seems that during the school board meetings, there are some changes going on with public speaking or the amount of time that speakers, and there are some community members that feel like they're being stifled with their voice being heard when they're going to the school board meeting. So can you talk about what's going on with attend? Because it's been a while since I've been there, and I promised I was going to start going to the agenda briefings. It's on my agenda to get it to start showing up.
There has been a policy discussion that's in debate right now about the speaking time when it comes to speakers. And I see all sides of it, right?
Because you've been on the other side.
I've been on the other side, right? I also understand that we are in a climate right now where people, and we haven't had this experience in Dallas ISD, but not to my knowledge, where people will actually come in that's in an affiliated group and try to take over your meeting. They'll put in 50 people sign up on there, and then they want to flood it with their own agenda and stuff like that. And it also can like outshout other folks, don't even have a voice to be heard, okay? But there's also an unintended consequence if you limit speaking time, in my position on it, right?
Yes.
There's an unintended consequence because you have those people who show up all the time speaking on issues, and that 3 minutes is their 3 minutes to voice whatever they have to say. They know whether a school board trustee return my email or the administration don't do this or don't do something I like. I have 3 minutes.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
To say what I need to say.
Yes.
The unintended consequence in that is that if you, let's say for instance, you see you got this group of anti-DISD folks that want to, 30 folks, right, want to come and sign up and speak.
And they all sign up.
Right? And then
That's 90 minutes.
That's